Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kitty. I'm so glad that you made it to the channel. Grab your gloves, grab your resin, grab your cups. I'm going to show you in this video how to make a very cute resin jar like this one that I'm showing you. I am so happy at this turnout. Y'all don't understand. I have been epic failing at these jars for for a year. And now I finally figured out how to do it, what I was doing wrong. And so I'm going to share with you what I've learned over the time. These jars can hold any of your trinkets, any of your herbs, any of your anything that you would put in a jar can be in this resin jar, including liquid like water. So I'm going to show you how to do that. And the tops, you can twist the top on and the tops get tight like an actual jar. No spill when you put a water in it. So I'm really just happy to get started with this. And so yeah, let's get started. For this, I'm using liquid pigment color. I also have glow in the dark mica powder, resin powder. So you're gonna need that, and I'm using 3 cups that I labeled, and the resin that I'm using is a clear cast 2-part resin. I think it's from Amazing. Yeah, and I like this. I love how hard it gets. And so I made these cups out of containers and I labeled them and made my own little measuring line. So I have part A, part B, and then I'm going to pour them both into container C. And I'm going to use this little cup to add my colorings. Whenever I want to switch the color or add the color, I'm going to use this. So what I'm doing first is I'm just going to, I'm going to use a spoon, but if you don't have a spoon, you want to use like a popsicle stick. But what I learned is that the popsicle sticks add more bubbles than the spoon because the popsicle stick has air in it. It's from the earth, so it creates more bubbles. And so I'm using this type of jar mold. I don't know the measurements, but that's what it looks like, and this is what the top looks like. And yeah, so let's see what I'm doing here. This is pearl green. You can't see it because it's all sticky in the lighting. It's like super dark outside, so, and I didn't want to turn on any extra lights beside my ring light. So yeah, that's that green glow in the dark pigment that I'm using. And these are the flowers that I'm using. I got these a long time ago, but I got them off of Etsy. I got these stickers from the Dollar Tree. They were, well, $1.25 tree, $1.25. All of these for $1.25. You know, I love me some Dollar Tree, but that $1.25, come on now, make it back a Dollar Tree. But I got all these stickers from Dollar Tree. And this string light I ordered off of Amazon. I got a pack of like 6. And I'm going to be using this for this resin. If you don't have it, it's totally fine. The jar will still be amazing without it. Okay, so what I'm about to do now is I'm going to paint the bottom of my mold with this glow-in-the-dark green. And I'm using this just to create like what the bottom of the flat surface is going to look like for the jar, but you don't have to do that part, but that is what I'm doing right here. And I didn't have a paintbrush, but a paintbrush would have been so much easier than this little tool that I'm using. So, but what I'm doing is just spreading it all over the middle part of the resin mold. Just like that. Yep. Super simple, but would have been, well, that was like super tedious, but it would have been super easier with a paintbrush. But we have. All right, so now what I'm about to do is add in my green. I'm sorry, I'm going to add in my part A, and I'm going to fill it up to the first line. But in this video, I did go a little overboard and I squeezed a little bit too much and it made it go over the fill line, over the first fill line where I wanted it to go. But yeah, normally I would just do it on the first fill line. This is a 1-to-1 ratio. So what you do in part A, you have to do in part B exactly. Otherwise, you risk having a mold that's floppy, that doesn't stick. I mean that that doesn't stick. That gets sticky, and it may not even harden depending on how off your measurements are. So it's really important to get this 1-to-1 measurement as accurate as possible. So again, what you do in part A, you do in part B. So part B is a lot looser than part A. So you want to squeeze a little slower. And a lot of this stuff I'm just going to speed up. So we're just going to speed right on through this. And I'm just going to cut in whenever there's an important part. So what I like to do first is, because part A or part A is thicker, I usually, I wanted to start with part B because part A is thicker and that helps to stir it faster. But that's another tip that I would say, is to start with part B and then part A, because if you start with part B, it will be easier to mix the two together because A is a lot thicker than part B. Just a little tip I learned along the way that has helped me. So even though I started with part A, if I had to do it all over again, which I am going to do it all over again, but I just won't be recording it. But when I do it all over again, I'm going to start with part B and then part A while I'm mixing it into part C. I had so much fun making these. Like, it is so exciting. The thing is, the cure time, because I'm not using like an oven heater or any other thing like that. I'm just using like the regular, it's regular curing time, right? So it takes 12 to 24 hours to cure. And talk about like being patient and learning how to be patient in that moment, because if you touch it before, you risk ruining everything. So don't touch it before. Take my advice. I've messed up that way too, just touching it before. And even with this particular mold that I'm showing you, I got way too excited, and I think it has a lot to do with because I was recording. But I touched it a few times when I thought it was like completely dry, and it wasn't, and it just like my it just messed up a little bit. And I'll show you some other things where I messed up on because I was rushing. So I would definitely say, like, take your time, get as much of the part A and part B into part C as much as possible. But yeah, don't rush this process. And make sure when you are stirring to mix part A and part B into part C, when you are stirring, make sure that you really spend at least 3 to 5 minutes stirring. I even interchange from right to left hand because like stirring and mixing it together is just as important as making sure that you have the temperature of the home so it's like dries appropriately. All of that is so important. All right, so you want to make sure that you are wearing a mask and gloves because, man, the resin smell is so chemically strong. I sneezed in like crazy inhaling the powder one day, just completely by accident. Like, I opened up the Ziploc bag that I have mica powder in, and it was just like sneeze central. So definitely like wear your face covering, wear your gloves, because this resin, if it gets on your hands, it's just so annoying. But if it does get on your hands, take some baking soda and some alcohol and make sure you just get it off that way. Okay, so what I'm doing right here is I'm slowly pouring just a little bit. I'm not filling it up to the top. I'm filling it about 3/4 so that I can begin to add in my flowers. So don't fill it up to the top just yet. Now, this is the fun part. This is where we begin to add in our flowers. And I'm just taking my popsicle stick and I'm pushing it down, but I'm also pushing it as much as I can up against the resin, up against the mold. So when you add your flowers in, you want to position them where you like and to make sure that you push them close to the wall or wherever you want them really. But what I'm doing is I'm pushing it close to the wall. Okay, put that aside, and then we are going to work on our resin top. So if your flowers begin to rise to the top, what you want to do is push them down and push them back into place. So right here, I added entirely too much color. It squeezed out and really fast. And I was like way too heavy handed with it. And so don't use too much. You want to use way less than how much I used, but it still came out really, really nice. But the only thing is that it was, it took a long time to cure. And when it did cure, it was still a little like, I don't know the word, but it didn't harden completely. So what I ended up having to do was take some UV resin and put it on the top of the top and the inside of the top, and that helped to secure it into place, and it still came out really, really nice. So that's just a tip that you might can use if that happens, that you might can save it like that if you have some UV resin. And I'll have some clips in the video somewhere to show you exactly what that looks like, what I did. So yeah. All right, now I'm taking these pineapples. These pineapples are so cool, so cute. And so what I did was I cut out the words and I pushed it all the way in the resin and made sure that the letters and the words are covered in the resin. And same thing with the pineapple sticker. You really want to push it in there and cover it with resin so that it doesn't so that it's actually in the top and not like at the surface of it, so it can be like ripped off and manipulated. So you don't want that. So you just want to make sure that you have it in there. And ignore what I'm doing right here, you guys. I'm just setting up my camera and light so that I can get a better view for you so that you can see it, and it will be inserted so that you can see it. Yeah, so that's what it looks like. So cute, right? May your days be fruitful, right? The perfect pick-me-up jar. And I'm going to add some light into it, and it's going to be so, so cute. So again, I'm just setting up my, camera and lighting so I can give you guys a better view. I know, I'm awesome. So since I'm so awesome, make sure that you subscribe and like. All right, so now you're gonna use your string light. If you don't have string light, it's fine. Just skip this step, but it's still something to watch. I ordered these string lights off of Amazon, and so what I'm doing is I'm just positioning them in the way that I want them to be positioned, so that they can, yeah, so I'm just putting them in there in the way that I want and in the way that it's actually allowing. So I'm just wrapping it around and around and around until all of it is in there. All of the string wire is, it's not really string, it's wire. All of the wire is in there and secure, and then we wait. So once it's in there, you're going to take the rest of your resin and fill it up to the top. So I'm adding a little color just for the bottom so I can give it that green glow in the dark type of hue. And I'm filling it up all the way to the top. So I'm adding in the rest of the resin to fill the top with.